everybody, and welcome to another Spooktober episode of We Watch Spooky Shorts. My name is JD. Who's here with me?
Extra terrifying Michelle.
Michelle has her spooky shorts on. Ooh.
Spooky shorts. They have ghosts, and the ghosts are smoking in the non-smoking section. They're miscreants. They're going to get a fine.
Brazen scofflaws, those ghosts.
They're skipping science class.
Unbelievable.
They're those bad ghosts on my.
So anyway, guys, if this
shorts
is your first time tuning in,
exist.
hi. Yeah, we're not normal, but it's fine. This show is normally called We Watch Shudder because we watch new original and exclusive releases from Shudder, which is awesome. If you don't know what Shudder is, Google it. I'm tired of explaining it. Anyway, but for October, we like to drop a new episode every day all month long in the 31 Days of Spooktober tradition. This year, we decided we were going to do short films. Michelle, what is our, I call it a theme, you call it a gimmick. What's our gimmick for this week?
Our gimmick this week is we are watching things that eventually became full-length films.
Shorts that became
we started
features.
Shorts that became
Woohoo!
Long. Some of these shorts are already pretty
pants.
long, though. They are some long shorts.
I'm going to start calling feature-length films pants. We got shorts and pants.
We started with the Pre-Evil Dead movie, Within the Woods. We went from that to Saw and Saw and a Half, and then Oculus Chapter 3, The Man with the Plan. I feel like things are going pretty well in Spooktober. Why don't we just fuck it up horribly with this episode? Shall we,
are we going to do that,
JD?
Michelle? Man.
Terrifier, it's been too good so far.
So what we're talking about today, guys, is a short film with a one-word title that you are likely, I would guess if you're anywhere close to a horror fan, you're well aware of what this word signifies. That short film is called Terrifier, which eventually went on to become a feature film called Terrifier. And then there was a sequel called Terrifier 2. And now there's this threequel coming out called Terrifier 3. Written and directed and special effects and all that good stuff by Mr. Damien Leone. And that's what we're talking about today. If you've never seen it, check the episode description on whatever platform you're listening to this on. There will be a link to the short film for you to be able to watch it, where this is your only spoiler warning. We're not doing no spoiler-free shit here. These are short films. We got to get to business.
We're miscreants.
We're scofflaws.
Smoking in the non-smoking section.
Smoking in both the boys' and girls' rooms. Smoking in the unisex bathroom. That's what we're doing. Miscreants. Michelle.
Wearing leather jackets, writing on the urinals.
Michelle, I had to get all that out because you said something, and I just want to dive right into it. We were talking about how the week and the month have started off really well with 3 consecutive solid episodes, and now things are about to change. Why don't you go ahead and explain why?
Because I feel like it's impossible for me to do really well 4 episodes in a row. That's all. It has nothing to do with what we're watching. I just have enjoyed our opening episodes, and I feel like that can't go on too long.
Look, guys, this is the 4th episode we've recorded in one night. We're banging out the whole week in one evening.
Banging the whole week.
Lots of banging on Terrifier here. So,
nice.
Michelle, you wanna do that thing you do where you tell people what haapens in this movie?
Yeah. Okay. So
it's like Terrifier, only shorter.
Actually, kinda.
No.
But in case they don't know, okay.
I
feel like this one isn't as classic as Evil Dead. Like maybe they haven't seen Terrifier.
If I know
if
I know how to do anything, Michelle, it's drive a joke into the ground. So
much like this car was driven off the road because the lady didn't have arms. Anyway. So, Terrifier, the short film, and then Terrifier, I guess, the franchise. This is going to have like 13 films and become like Jason in space. Terrifier in space! cryogenically frozen. It's terrifying. So it's very centered around Art the Clown. And Art the Clown is played by David Howard Thornton, and he is a terrifying motherfucker. So he's just a clown, but not like a happy clown. He's black and white. He doesn't have a red nose. It's too spooky. Kids don't want to be around him. There's no balloon animals here, unless the balloon animals are death. I don't know. Like, here's a dead poodle. It's a little bit different when David Howard Thornton is your clown. So all you need to know is that he likes a killing, he likes a torture, he likes a being creative about it. And in the shorts, he gets to do a whole bunch of that when he runs into a lady at a gas station, and then he kills the gas station attendant, then another lady on the side of the road, and then a dude who's driving a car. He just likes a killing, and he does a lot of it. Side note, I do have a hard time watching any mechanic and not thinking of James Gunn's PG porn, but this is Terrifier, so porn did not happen. Yeah. Terrifier. He likes to murder in creative ways.
Yeah, that's Art the Clown. That's Terrifier. The one thing I want to point out right away, Michelle, is we're talking about Terrifier, the short film. David Howard Thornton did not play Art the Clown in Terrifier, the short film.
Yes, you are correct.
Art the Clown in Terrifier, the short film, was played by a fellow by the name of Mike Gianelli. But I'll be honest with you, the makeup.
He's the same.
The makeup, yeah, the makeup really more or less makes them inseparable.
I had no idea
from each other.
Yeah, the mannerisms are identical. So despite knowing that the makeup actually changed quite a bit to the full-length movie, which was in my notes, that they did a much better job of making him look menacing in the full-length. If that hadn't been the case, I don't know if I would have ever even known that they were different, because, wow. If David took what, like, Mike did a great job of laying that groundwork, David did a really good job building upon it, because I had no idea that they were separate people.
And of course, the plot of this is significantly different than what we see in the feature film. You can almost think of this short as a prequel more than like it just being adapted entirely into a feature, because I mean, I've only seen the original Terrifier all the way through one time, but I'm pretty sure there's absolutely nothing in that film that happens in this short. Do you know for sure, Michelle?
I feel fairly confident. I've seen it a couple times, and I feel like even if this was very similar to how something played out in Terrifier, Art the Clown could just be fucking around exact same way twice. I wouldn't put him past it to, like, I'm going to make the exact same thing happen because I think it's funny.
Yeah.
He's a bad boy.
And so we've talked about Terrifier before, I believe. And one of my biggest things with that movie is I don't even think it's bad in any way. It's just, again, a perfect example of not necessarily for me. Especially, and Damien Leone himself knows and has said that this is a pretty common criticism of the film that he has received, is that there's just not a lot of plot and story there. It's really a sequence of set pieces.
I'm not recording.
You're not recording?
I am recording on my backup on Audacity. I will start my podcast equipment right now. Anyway, if the audio just got way better,
it's because
now
Michelle.
You know why.
Yeah, she knows.
I'm a professional.
Right.
Oh,
we all always.
Sorry.
This is what we get doing 7 of these in one night, 6 in one night. Anyway, no. So Art the Clown, like, it's just. It is kind of a collection of set pieces, and don't get me wrong, the effects are insane. That legendary hacksaw scene, and I'll just say that about it for those people who may somehow have not seen it, is fantastic. It's just there's not quite enough narrative and story. This is basically like the whole movie is maybe like, I don't know, it feels like maybe 6 or 7 hours of time at most, just condensed down into a feature, and it wasn't enough to carry me through the feature. This short is so much better for me because, again, there's still not a lot of through line. This is a a very specific collection of set pieces. But because it's short form, it's I'm able to focus on it a bit more. I don't get bored. I'm able to appreciate those special effects sequences a little bit more. I actually prefer the Terrifier short to the Terrifier feature significantly.
Interesting. Very interesting. I really enjoyed Terrifier, and when I tell people that, I say it's because it's hilarious, and that concerns some people. I think that Art the Clown in the first full-length Terrifier is so fucking funny, and the brutality is just like, it doesn't even matter. That's not the focal point. The focal point is his glee and his expressions and his like way of just tormenting these people is very funny. Terrifier 2, I'm not going to spoil it because I feel like we didn't give enough of a warning that we're not going to spoil that one. It is somewhat newer. There is a scene in Terrifier 2 that I went, I have found my limit, and it is right here.
Oh, really?
And oh yeah, Terrifier 2.
Is it the bedroom scene?
Yes, that went
really
far for me. I'm not a big gore person, so despite loving Terrifier, like that, I went, this is my limit for gore. This is too much. And
that's interesting.
I was very confused by that because we have talked about how I am very desensitized to most things horror. I have been watching horror since I was a toddler. I don't get affected. Yeah, way too young, like damaging levels
Jeff.
Young to watch. Yeah, thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it. No, actually, thank you. I'm not afraid of things now, except for spiders. Yeah, thanks, Jeff. But so Terrifier 2, I was so fascinated, like, why? And I had to kind of like do this internal analysis, and I had to watch that scene again because now I was like, why does this get me so much? And I think what happens in the first film and what happens in the short is like, it's not brought to the extreme that is in Terrifier 2 of like, he enjoys this so fucking much and he has so much glee that it then made me uncomfortable.
I will give you that. I believe I may have told this story once before somehow on the podcast, but interesting thing about that scene that we're not going to tell you what happens in Terrifier 2.
Brace yourself.
I went to see Terrifier 2 in the theater because even though I wasn't the biggest fan of Terrifier, I do love the idea of movies like this getting more theatrical releases, and I wanted to go and support that.
Absolutely.
And I had also heard that there was some more storytelling going on here, and so I figured, okay, we'll go give it a chance. Still not quite for me, but same sort of thing. I don't think it's bad. It just wasn't really my thing. But I knew going in also that it was going to have that big sort of capstone. It's not even a capstone, but it's just that one significant set piece, very similar to the hack. You know, in the way the hacksaw scene was the most legendary, talked about thing from the original Terrifier. The bedroom scene in Terrifier 2 is immediately the thing people talk about there. But all I knew is there was going to be one scene in this movie that was probably going to be the one that was the craziest. And would you believe I had to pee in the middle of the film because it's about 2.5 hours long. And I shit you not, I walked out of the theater just before that scene happened and came back just after it was over. I didn't know what I had missed. So I finished watching the whole movie, and I was like, I can't for the life of me think what was the scene they were talking about. It's not possible it happened in that 2 minutes I was out of the theater. And then I saw the movie on streaming, and yeah, sure enough, yeah, it was. Anyway, we're talking, we want to talk about the short.
But I had a reason to bring that up.
Go ahead.
Because I found my limit in that scene with Terrifier 2. I had seen this short. I completely forgot the ending, and somehow the ending almost hit that threshold for me again.
Oh, really?
And I think, but in a way that I enjoy. Like, it's not a complaint. It's a, wow, I finally found something that upsets me. Thank God I'm human. But it, for me, like, that brutality again and the glee and, like, why the fuck is this happening? Like, that's why these work so well for me, because there is no rhyme. There is no reason. There is no way to make it stop. He just enjoys doing it, and it's just gonna happen. And I completely forgot, like, the last 30 seconds of this. I was like, wow. That was super fucked up, even by my standards, but it's not a complaint.
I do find it very interesting that the one thing I did recognize immediately is in this movie. There's the sequence where the lady is driving to try and get away or running away, and she comes across that other car stalled out on the road. The fucked up facial brutality that had been done to that lady is, if I'm not mistaken, identical to the lady in the opening of Terrifier the feature film. Is that correct?
Ooh, that actually...
And I don't know if they're maybe supposed to be the same person, but the face,
I'd actually be curious.
The face makeup looked very similar.
Yes.
So
now that you pointed out, very similar. And I mean, that might be the connection where we go, oh, this is like a prequel, you know, like
right.
I would be interesting to go and see if they talk about like she was brutalized on the side of a road, because I don't remember
now
at
you
want
to go watch the opening of Terrifier, the feature film.
I'm definitely going to. Yes, 100%, because now I am very curious, like, because if nothing else, they just went, those special effects are pretty good. Let's reuse them. Yeah. Because that is very, very similar, to the point of like there was a deliberate thing of either she's the same person or they went, that's good and we wasted in the short. We got to do it again.
Right. Yeah, and again, I think this is even more so than Saw 0.5, which we talked about a couple of days ago. This, for me, is a perfect example of that thing I've talked about multiple times, of where just it's not enough to captivate me for a full feature, but as like a 20-minute short, which is what this is, for me, that's perfect. Like, Terrifier as a part of an anthology, or if it had been like an episode of like a creep show type TV series or something like that, Tales from the Dark Side or something, I think it works perfectly on that level, and I really liked this.
Actually, I kind of agree with that. Despite liking the Terrifier movies, having a condensed version, because there's so much chaos and violence,
right,
that having it condensed instead of this long, drawn-out story in between, I don't really care what this lady's backstory is. I know something terrible is going to happen to her. I know the gas station attendant's just having a bad night and now he's dead. Like, I need just the basic information. I don't need a whole thing from... Terrifier 2 is just fresh in my brain because I recently rewatched it to... ruin my head a little bit more, but like I don't need the whole thing of like it's Halloween and she's making a costume and her friend is not okay and there's a laundromat thing, although that stuff's funny. Just anything without Art the Clown, why bother?
Right.
Just make it a 45-minute thing about just Art the Clown and I'm just as happy. I'll still pay you the same amount of money I would have if it was a full length, but give me the brutality, the funny moments. I don't need anything in between. Cut it down.
Yeah, for sure. And at this point, I think I'd honestly just like to see Damien Leone just do something else.
Branch out.
You know? Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, I'd like to see what other kinds of things he can create.
I want to see. It feels like with the most recent one, he's actually kind of going away from realistic special effects and going more into like kind of this like hokey 80s territory.
Sure.
It felt like he stepped away, as opposed to this short where it felt like they were definitely going for realism, or at least close to realism, and being like extra disgusting.
This definitely had that like 70s Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Evil Dead kind of vibe, where they were going for a very realistic, intense kind of feeling.
Yeah, and so I'm glad that he did go more like kind of silly effects, because that makes the brutality in Terrifier 2 not so extreme, because then you're like, this is ridiculous. Even the scene that was too much for me, I'm like, this is ridiculous. It's just like in concept, it's a lot. I want to see him actually do like... Now with this bigger budget, I want to see like what special effects he would bring to an actual no comedy horror. I want to see him take this brain with this beautiful, disgusting stuff and show us more.
Yeah, I do want to point out that Terrifier is, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm just pulling up the list, I think it's one of only 2 shorts we're talking about all month long that we were not able to find on YouTube because it's too extreme for YouTube. That's and that should tell you something. And especially when you learn that the other one is only not on YouTube, likely for copyright reasons and its relation to another feature film. We'll talk about that somewhere down the road. But yeah, this is the only short film that was too extreme for YouTube. We had to find it somewhere else.
It's just that ending shot. It's just that very ending shot. Brutal. And I'm so glad they didn't edit it to then be allowed on YouTube.
Right.
Like, give it to us a different way. We'll find it. We got an internet archive. Everything's saved. We're fine.
Perfect. Well, we've already let this episode go on even longer than the short film itself. So we should probably get around. You have any other major points you want to make about this movie, Michelle? I just completely forgot. Terrifier. That's the title.
Oh my god. No, I am ready for my score review.
What do you got?
And then I am peacing out. I am gonna go a 4.5 on this. I like it more than the full length. Like I said, I just like Art the Clown, and there's more Art the Clown here. And like I said, it hit right against my barrier of like, I can handle this, and I enjoy finding those limits for me because they're few and far between. So I liked feeling disgusted and unsafe for a little bit.
Yeah, and like I said, as a 20-minute short film, I got everything I wanted out of this. I think it's the perfect little package of violence and gore with just a little bit of fucking weird mixed in. This is a 4 for me. I'll give this a solid 4, along with your 4.5 gives us an average 4.25.
Love it. Yeah, I think this one it's good. You should watch it.
Yeah, it's and again, I would say especially if you thought maybe the other films were just a little too much all at once, I think you'll be able to this is just a nice little tasty, it's like a snack size, a fun size Snickers as opposed to like a king size Snickers.
Yeah, but I want that king size Snickers too.
I'm a fun size Snickers
guy. Give me the bite size.
I'm a fun size.
Give me the fun size.
The Snickers
and the king
is
size.
so rich. It's so rich, Michelle.
Yeah, I'll eat them all. I don't even care. Nom nom.
We watch Snickers. That's the name of our new podcast.
I will. You can watch me eat them. You watch me eat Snickers. That's our next show.
Wow. I bet there's a market for that. Anyway, say goodnight, Michelle.
Guaranteed. Good night, Michelle.
We Watch Shudder is a production of Rat Factory Media, your home for all of today's Rat Factoryist podcasts. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests of We Watch Shudder are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of Rat Factory Media. But wait, aren't Rat Factory Media and We Watch Shudder the same people? Shut your cake hole, Charlie. Nobody asked you. We Watch Shudder is available free on all major podcast platforms, and the easiest way to support We Watch Shudder is also free. Just leave a rating and review on your platform of choice. Merge your consciousness with ours on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. We're at We Watch Shudder on all those social media platforms. Or find us the old-fashioned way, on the web at wewatchshudder.com or by email at mail@wewatchshudder.com. Heck, you can even leave us a voicemail at 701-566-9510. No, seriously, 701-566-9510. Try it if you dare.